Fall peak asthma season. It is here. As a perfect storm of asthma triggers arrive, today I have Dr. Justin Grayway, allergist and immunologist, here to provide tips on how patients can stay prepared and reduce the risk of an attack this season and beyond. Hopefully, I didn't attack your last name bad, doctor. Did I do okay?
You did great, thanks.
Thank you. Why is this fall considered peak asthma season? Why do experts consider this season a dangerous time for asthma community?
It's a good question. So really, August through the December months are a critical time for our patients with asthma due to the heightened exposure to seasonal asthma triggers, as you mentioned, and that increased risk for asthma attack. But specifically, the third week of September is what we call asthma peak week. And the reason why we call it that is that's when emergency room visits and hospitalizations for asthma tend to be the highest in the year. So each fall, the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America publishes its annual Asthma Capitals Report. And this report ranks the 100 largest US metro areas by how challenging they are to live in if you have asthma. And so I encourage your members to look up that information and see where their cities rank. But all of us suffer from at least some asthma triggers, whether it be pollens, weather shifts, barometric pressure changes, pollution, viruses, and bacteria. They all can lead to an asthma attack this time of year.
Are there common symptoms people living with asthma should look for? What leads to a spike in asthma attacks and hospitalizations during the fall season?
So people with asthma often deal with symptoms like shortness of breath, chest tightness, wheeze, cough, and these symptoms happen when the airways are inflamed and tight. So it's important to know that that underlying inflammation is really what drives a lot of the asthma exacerbations this fall, putting people at risk for flares. And so, this is a fairly common condition. About 22 million adults in the US live with asthma. Every year, about 9 million asthma attacks occur with over 700,000 emergency room visits. So this is a big issue that can lead to a lot of lost school attendance and lost work attendance. And as I mentioned, even something as severe as a hospitalization. And so, at least in my practice, this time of year, definitely we see an increase in symptoms with exposure to some of those things I mentioned earlier, viruses, bacteria, stress, weather, pollution, and then the ragweed and mold pollen that are out right now. But one of the big triggers right now is that back to school season. So a lot of kids are back hanging out with friends and bringing those viruses back home. So combine that with the stress of the new school year and sports and homework and everything else. That definitely can lead to more exacerbations and asthma symptoms in our young children. So fall can be a nasty time of year, and so it's important that we, talk with our doctors and really develop a good treatment plan so that we can be prepared. So that's why we're here today in collaboration with AstraZeneca, really raising awareness about asthma peak week and encouraging patients to review their treatment plans and know what to do before things spike this fall so they can reduce their risk for an asthma attack.
So, what proactive steps can patients take to reduce the risk of an attack?
So asthma is a chronic condition, so it requires kind of constant vigilance throughout the year. And what a lot of global asthma experts have recognized is that we're not doing a good enough job with rescue treatment. And so what we've developed recently is a different approach to rescue. So in the past, with traditional rescue inhalers, we used to use a lot of short-acting bronchodilators. So we used to just help open up the airways with that treatment, but we didn't treat the underlying inflammation. So when we don't treat inflammation over time, we can be more vulnerable to future attacks because we're not really addressing the root cause of our asthma symptoms. And so what we have now is a new way of treating asthma attacks with a rescue that includes an anti-inflammatory component. So when you treat both the inflammation and the chest tightening, you really come up with a better treatment plan for patients. And so folks that want to dig deeper and understand this a little bit better, sites like modernageofrescue.com have great information about anti-inflammatory rescue strategies. And also organizations like the AAFA that I mentioned earlier have great educational resources and support where we can really provide a lot of information for patients so we can protect each other as we get through the fall season.
One more time, can you tell us where we can learn more? One more time.
Modernageofrescue.com.
Sounds good. I've been talking with Dr. Justin Grayway, the board certified allergist and immunologist. But I've got one last question for him, and let's see if he can answer this for me. Browns or Bengals?
Oh man. Well, we had a good show in their first game of the year, so I'm thinking if Burrow can stay healthy, fingers crossed. I think Bengals all the way.
Okay. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend.
All right. Thank you.